Hi, hey, hi, it's me, your Ward, and it is once again time for the most capitalist of holidays. At this point, you should be well aware of my opinion on the whole Valentine's Day thingamathing thing. It's not a holiday. It never should have been. But alas, we live in a capitalistic hellscape of a society, and therefore the chocolate industry really wants us to celebrate this non-holiday. My first year on YouTube, I wanted to stay as far away from romance as I could, and I failed miserably, so last year I leaned into that as hard as I could, and I only read romances, and they also had to have pink covers. And boy oh boy, it turned me into a romance girly. Now, after 1 year of being a certified romance girly, I feel very much qualified to give you romance recommendations. Last year I gave you recommendations of romances, as in couples in books, and this year I decided I just give you romance as in the genre. I have a stack of books here, and all of them are romance, and I will recommend these books to you for the season of love, as artificial as it is. My first romance recommendation for you is The Undertaking of Hart and Mercy. This one is a fantasy cowboy-esque setting. It is very much a fantasy setting, but it's like in the cowboy aesthetic, the Wild West aesthetic. And in this one, we follow Hart and Mercy. Hart is you could call him a ranger slash sheriff kind of guy. His job is to keep the wildlife away from the cities. The wildlife in question is usually zombies and monsters. They come from this weird-ass place where only a few people can go, he being one of them. And these monsters sometimes come out, and it's his job to kill it and then just get rid of it so other people don't suffer from it. And Mercy is an undertaker. She works for her father. Technically, her father is the undertaker, and she's just standing in until her brother can take over the entire business of her family. This family business is a bit struggling, so that is one of the plots, that she is trying to keep this thing afloat while there is like one branch that is like basically like corporate undertaking, basically. Because of Hart's job, he brings over a lot of dead people to places like Mercy's, and Mercy has to take care of him. So they come in contact with each other a bunch of times, and at one point they met and they decided they hate each other. So far, so good. But, of course, they still have to kind of work together every now and then. So, you see the problem. And then both of these people, both of these characters, they start to feel very lonely, so they start writing letters. But they don't write letters to some people, they don't write letters to each other. They write letters to unknown people. But the way the postal system works in this universe, these letters get delivered anyway. They get delivered by these magical creatures, and these magical creatures always know where to send the letter. So when they start writing letters to nobody, these letters end up... Hart writes a letter to nobody, ends up with Mercy. Mercy writes a letter back to nobody, ends up with Hart. They feel less lonely about this entire thing by writing letters to this nobody, without knowing that the nobody is the person they hate. All of this is me very badly explaining the plot of this book, so let me summarize it a bit more clearer. We have a Wild West fantasy setting, and we have two people who seemingly don't like each other, who accidentally fall in love with each other. It is a brilliantly executed rom-com. I was a fan of the entire thing. You can ignore the mystery plot, it's not that deep, it's not that important, it's literally just there because we need some background noise for these two people to do what they need to do. I love everything about this. It's very much a rom-com, but it's a good rom-com. It's a good fantasy western rom-com, and Hart and Mercy and all of the characters surrounding them are just so funny, and I loved all of this. This is great! The next recommendation I have for you is a book I do not physically own. I own it as an ebook, but I own BookTube as a physical copy, so I will hold up mistletoes and Michigans, but I am actually talking about Teacher of the Year by M.A. Wardell. Now, Teacher of the Year is a story about an elementary school teacher who is trying very hard to get the title of Teacher of the Year. At the same time, he has to deal with a new kid in his class and the new dad of said kid. He is just teaching away, and he also recognizes that the new dad is kind of cute, and the dad needs a bit of help because he just moved and it's his first time being a single parent, blah blah blah. These characters get closer to each other and then they fall in love. There is no real other plot other than these two people falling in love through the fact that they have to be around the same school. It is a very wholesome, cute, gay thing with we have what kind of rep? We have ADHD rep, we have anxiety rep, we have a recovering alcoholic. So if that is something you're iffy about, just remember to just be aware. We have a recovering alcoholic. We have someone who is just discovering his sexuality in what I think was a very healthy way. We have the other character helping this character through that discovery. Very healthy communication in the entire relationship, especially given that there is a small child around. Very healthy all around. Very much in love with it. It is brilliant. One of the characters is Jewish as well. The other character is Black. So we have a lot of representation in the M.A. Wardell books, and I loved it. I ate Teacher of the Year up. Teacher of the Year is one of those books where I was like, yeah, okay, I might as well read it. This is a queer romance, and then I was like, oh my god, this is good. Do with that information what you want. Teacher of the Year was great. Mistletoes and Michigas is also very great, so if you need a queer romance for holidays, we have Hanukkah and Christmas in here, so go for it. I also have, where is it? Yes. Book 3, Napkins and Other Distractions. I am very much looking forward to reading this, but yeah, M.A. Wardell writes great romances. Another book I only own digitally, but the follow-up books I own physically is the Guide to Dating Vampires series, so I'm going to hold up How to Sell Your Blood and Fall in Love when I'm actually talking about How to Bite Your Neighbor and Win a Wager. But honestly, read the Guide to Dating Vampires. In this series, in this independently published series by D.N. Bryn, we follow vampires characters who fall in love with human characters in a world where vampirism is known, and it is more of a disability than this cool fantasy sexy curse thing. Because it's basically, you get a very severe sunlight allergy, you are kind of allergic towards garlic now, and you have this extremely strict dietary restriction thing where you have to consume blood every couple of days to just, I don't know, exist. And in this world we have a ginormous farmer company who is exploiting vampires and actually like experimenting on vampires to do shit, I guess. In How to Bite Your Neighbor and Win a Wager, we meet a vampire who is very much struggling ever since he became a vampire. He was accidentally turned and then left. So now he's struggling because vampires are very much ostracized from society, so he can't really get a job. He doesn't even have a place to live. So he's breaking into people's houses and drinks their blood in secret. And one day he breaks into this guy's home and drinks from him and realizes, oh shit, this blood tastes better than any other blood I've ever tasted. And one night, because he then comes back night after night after night because it's so good. And one night, the guy he bites just wakes up and is like, what the fuck are you doing? And that is how they first meet. And then they realize they are actually childhood friends. Like, they lived across the street from each other, and they kind of reconnect over that. This guy is the first time the vampire is allowed to stay, is not kicked out, is not ostracized for who he is, for what he is, and they then just try to help each other out, figure shit out, and during that they fall in love. And I thought that was very sweet. That was very cute. And I mean, I'm always game for a good vampire book. And this one was queer and just wholesome and cute and whatnot. If you read that and you want more, read the rest of the series. These books also are filled with representation. In the first one, we have depression, anxiety, grief. Vampirism is treated itself as a disability. In book 2, we have autism rep, we have chronic chronic pain rap. It's just amazing. And also parts of these books are own voices. Yeah, so if you want more queer romances written by queer authors and you want to support an indie author, go for it. And if vampires aren't your thing, the Bryn also has some stuff about mermaids. Then a recommendation I only have digitally and not even close to physically is Sweet Vengeance by... Author is on the screen right now! In Sweet Vengeance we have a demon who is summoned by a woman who wants to take revenge on someone who sexually abused her. And that is her original plan. She summons the demon and her plan is, you help me fuck with him. But not in that way. And the demon is like, fuck yeah! But also, the demon is now hanging around because her plan is to make it slowly, to basically slowly drive this guy insane. So, to have him suffer. So the demon is sticking around until the deal is done. But the demon is also a demon, so the demon is like... But she, because of her trauma, is like... But also... This whole dynamic is not strange, but there are vibes being flung around for a while before anything happens. And the beauty about this story is it is not just about the smut. It is more a story about her healing and the demon helping her to heal. And she, in return, actually heals something in the demon. So they kind of help each other out in a way, while also sticking it to a piece of shit, which was very cathartic. Not gonna lie. It's a beautiful story. It is extremely smutty, but it is very beautiful. It starts off with, I need to hurt this person, but then it becomes so much more. We still do it at the end. Good for her, but how we get there is just so good. So good. And the last recommendation I have for you, some people might probably already know what I'm going to hold up next, because how can I not hold it up? But I have to recommend it. I need more people to read this piece of literature. I am talking about A Lady for a Duke by Alexis Hall. I never give 6 stars to a book. I gave 6 stars to this book. I read this a year ago in February for my pink romances, and no kidding, it changed my life. This is the book that made me a romance girly. This is the book that kickstarted my basic bitch era, because after this, I started watching Bridgerton. I was never interested in Bridgerton. I watched Bridgerton and I fell in love with Bridgerton. And simultaneously, my sibling introduced me to matcha and matcha lattes. And I have been in love ever since. So I became a basic bitch in February last year, and this is the reason why. I love this so much. What is A Lady for a Duke about? It's about a lady who is falling in love with a duke. Ooh, what a thunkin'. But there is a bit more to this, because this lady was once upon a time the best friend of said duke. Here's the kicker. The duke believes she died because they went to war together and they were hit by a very bad attack and it looked like she died. So she took the opportunity to let the world think she died so she can run away and become herself, because Our Lady is a trans woman. And in Regency England, you gotta get creative if you want to transition. So she had her best friend, she went to war, she presumably died, when in actuality she started to live as herself. Her old self died, and then Viola happened, which is, by the way, her name. And she's now living with her sibling. They know, they accept her, but also she's like, society will never accept me, which, valid point. So she's kind of hiding herself away until one day there is a letter that tells the household about the Duke, her best friend, and that he is not doing well at all. He came back from the war traumatized and broken physically and mentally, and he is not doing well. So his little sister writes to them, please help. Because what the fuck? Viola and her family go over to the Duke, and it's the first time she meets him. And he has no idea who she is, but she very much knows, oh shit, this is my best friend. What if he finds out, and what if he doesn't accept me? So she's trying to help him. In the beginning, he's like, no, don't help me. And then he like slowly warms up, and again, they fall in love. It is beautiful. It's just such a beautiful story. I'm sorry, it's such a beautiful story. The banter is amazing. The banter between these characters is amazing. The humor in this is so good. The characters, all of them, I love all of this. I love all of this. This is so good. I don't know what else to say. This is so good. This is So good. Regency romance with queer characters by a queer author. You can't go wrong with this one. So here you have it. A bunch of romance recommendations for the season of love, as artificially as it might be. And I can only recommend reading these. Also, except Hart and Mercy, all of these have queer couples, main couples. Hart and Mercy has a queer side couple. So if you're looking to rainbowify your reading, go for it. Go for it. And yeah, it's cutesy romances. I never thought in 1,000 years that I would be a romance girly, but here I am, confidently giving romance recommendations. Look at me, character development, I guess. But yeah, if you made it this far into the video, let me know if you have any romance recommendations for me based on these books, if you are planning on picking up one of these books, because I made you do it. If you don't want to talk to me at all, leave a chocolate. Leave a chocolate bar emoji down in the comments below. Now I want chocolate. But yeah, this is it. And I guess I will see you in the next video. Bye.